Miss Lacey clapped her hands together. "Come on now, class, settle down and take your seats." It was her third year teaching at Whitington Primary School. She really enjoyed her job. This year, she was teaching the 8-year-old students. "I'm Miss Lacey, and I'm your teacher for this year." She looked around at the students sitting at their desks. She was trying to memorize their faces, and then she would do the same with their names. But she knew that one student wouldn't be hard to remember. The little girl sitting on her own in the corner looked very different from the other students in the classroom. She had bright pink hair, and her eyes were a yellow-green color. Her left eye was colored black in the middle, and she was blind in that eye. She had very fragile skin. That's why she was sitting on her own. The school didn't want anyone accidentally knocking her because if they did, her skin could easily be damaged. The other children didn't really take much notice of her. As far as they were concerned, she was just a bit of a loner. "Now, class, I have something really exciting to tell you. Tomorrow is going to be bringing your pet to class day. Now, I want you all to bring in a pet from home. It can be your dog, your cat, or even a hamster or a fish." "Can I bring in my pet elephant, miss?" asked a cheeky-looking boy. "What's your name?" "Jimmy, miss." Ah, so this was the infamous Jimmy, thought Miss Lacey. She had been warned by some of the other teachers that he could be a bit of a handful. "Yes, of course you can bring in your elephant. That's if you have one." The other children all burst out laughing when she said this. The following day, when Miss Lacey walked into the classroom, she was greeted by the sound of dogs barking and cats meowing, along with the chatter of excited children. The only person that hadn't brought a pet in was the little girl with the pink hair. The children began taking it in turns to bring their pet up to the front of the class and tell everyone else all about them. Jimmy had just finished telling everyone all about his goldfish Nemo when Miss Lacey heard a sickening scream. The sound chilled her to the bone. "She did it! She killed my cat!" She was pointing at the girl with the pink hair. "She turned my cat into a pair of gloves." Miss Lacey was about to tell the little girl not to be silly. "She's done the same thing to my dog. Where's my rabbit gone?" SCP-040, Evolution's Child. But before I go on, please be sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more creepy SCP cases. SCP-040 is a Caucasian female of approximately 8 years of age, standing 1 meter in height. She bears numerous physical abnormalities. Her skin is highly sensitive to light and easily damaged by physical contact, and her hair is a bright pink color. This hair is brittle and falls out easily, for an individual of its age group. Accounting for the effects of prolonged containment and physical behavior is generally cooperative. Of note is SCP-040's quick acclimatization to containment, believed to be resultant of its upbringing before recovery. The child is capable of manipulating living matter, mutating and modifying existing organisms, increasingly unreliable and inaccurate when manipulating details through small-scale modifications. SCP-040 is incapable of altering microscopic organisms, may also be used, but must be used in conjunction with a living organism. The majority will act similar to domesticated house pets, generally with extreme loyalty to the child, regardless of prior association. The appearance of SCP-040-1 instances will vary. Some instances will retain overall pre-modification form with some alteration, such as SCP-040's apparent modification to itself, though the majority will bear no resemblance to their original appearances. The child appears incapable of manipulating instances of SCP-040-1 more than once. The child is to be contained in a standard humanoid containment module within Bio-Research Area 12. The chamber is to be connected to an airborne tranquilizer dispersal system to be activated in the event of it manifesting its properties outside of testing environments. The chamber is to be observed by 2 supervisory personnel at all times. Recreational items such as toys, games, and art supplies may be provided to the child at the direction of supervisory personnel. As they have been determined to pose no possible threat, SCP-040-1A, 1C, and 1J have been approved to remain in the containment chamber with the child for purposes of the subject's mental well-being. All other entities modified by the child are to be disposed of after recovery and study according to standard biological specimen clearance protocols, as outlined in document CDP-Bio-EN-1. No outside organisms are to be brought into the child's presence beyond those used in testing procedures. SCP-040 is to undergo daily school lessons and bi-weekly psychological review, overseen by Doctors Abernathy, Logan, and Izawa. When the child was recovered, she was one of 15 subjects taken into custody. Further investigation found no anomalous properties in any other individuals. Amnestics were administered to detainees and the general populace, and cover-up measures were enacted without further incident. Monitoring of the area is ongoing in order to detect any resurgence of similar entities. The child is currently allowed custody of 3 instances. These are their descriptions. SCP-040-1A is a polymorphic symbiotic organism capable of changing size, shape, color, and texture in reaction to its environment. The subject serves as outer clothing, similar to a jacket or sweater, and absorbs nutrients from the child's bloodstream. It was recovered alongside the child, and genetic testing reveals that it shares the majority of its genetic makeup with the common house cat. SCP-040-1C is a spherical organism capable of flight by means of rubbery bladders filled with helium. The entity has 11 limbs terminating in opposite digits and a complex respiratory system capable of replicating a wide variety of musical patterns. SCP-040-1J is a quadrupedal organism covered in a thick coat of pink and blue fur. The entity has no eyes, a broad mouth with blunt teeth, and is capable of climbing up vertical surfaces. It is occasionally used by the child as a mode of transportation. On the 20th of March 2018, Dr. Abernathy conducted an interview with SCP-040. The following is a transcript of the interview. "Good morning, 40, said Dr. Abernathy. "Good morning, Miss Abernathy," replied SCP-040. "It's good to see that you're getting over your cold." "Mm-hmm. Can I ask you a few questions before we start with today's lesson?" "Yeah." "Can you tell me about your parents?" "Mr. Green said that I don't have any." "Can you tell me about Mr. Green then?" "He was nice. He wasn't very good at talking. He would always talk like this. But he wasn't there a lot of the time. Most of the time it was the nurses looking after us." "And what did they do for you?" "They'd play games with us and teach us things, and sometimes they would make us wear these dumb helmets and sit quiet for a long time. Sometimes they'd put a movie on for us, if we behaved, but if we were bad, they would lock us in our rooms." "Can you tell me anything else?" They always served us peas for dinner, and I hate peas. So I always gave mine to 5, because she liked peas, but I think green beans are better." On the 15th of April 2014, SCP-040 successfully reanimated a deceased human body during testing, using 3 specimens of brown rat as the required living component. The resultant subject retreated no memories of previous life and was judged to be of the approximate mental capacity of a human toddler. SCP-040 was highly distressed by the event and refused further testing for the next 3 weeks. What do you think of that SCP case? Leave your comments down below.